Hi, everybody. This is Scott Jordan, and you are watching live. This is TV Tuesday Resurrected. so welcome. We're going to bring back parts of what I used to do every Tuesday at 6 o'clock for 10 years. We did a live broadcast, and I interviewed winemakers and chefs and people in the industry. We cooked food, we made sangria, we did all kinds of crazy stuff, but we did an hour show and it was always live. So this will be up on our website and you'll be able to tune in and watch it again. If you miss, anybody that misses a show, you can go on there and pick that up, and you can go right ahead and take another look and watch them, and I'll keep laying them in there. Teresa, this could be someone from Florida, my daughter-in-law, maybe. Well, there it is. Wow, that's great. So we're gonna. Let me just make sure we got it. Yeah, that's all. That's muted. So don't worry. I'm going to bring you guys back in because I want to make this interactive. So tonight we're going to talk about the 4 wines that are in the wine club shipment. James family, we brought them back. Great story. Pinot Noir. Super Sonoma in his new label, which he calls Taddy, which is Chris Taddy's last name. And a Barbera, and then we have the Robert Young Merlot. Sorry about the view on that, but that's the way it goes. It's never going to show that pretty label. And then that's on the Merlot, and then the Robert Young Cabernet Sauvignon. I've got Robbie Young here with me, and he's going to talk about those wines. And he's going to taste these. He hasn't ever tasted these wines, so yeah. So you'll get a little fun time with that. And so we're going to talk about the 4 wines for people that are new. That if you are looking at this on our website and you don't know who I am or know anything about us, I had a tasting room for 10 years of small production wines. And because I was a genius, I closed my tasting room in 2019. So I got pretty lucky. I carved off the wine club and I run it from home. And then I work in the industry at Robert Young about 3 days a week, and we have a good time with that. And that's been really good. But I've been able to source these amazing wines, and so we're going to go right to the top. Let's talk right on the top. This is James Family Cellars. They're one of the vintners that was one of my first vintners that we had in the tasting room. They make Pinot Noir and they make Chardonnay, all from Russian River. And the cool thing is their house sits in the middle of the vineyard, which is super cool. And you never see that anymore because that land is so expensive. You never see them that small of a lot, but it's surrounded by Chardonnay and Pinot Noir in the heart of Russian River. This wine aged 10 months in French oak, and about 33% was new. He only made 112 cases. I mean, this is like tiny production.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's
super small.
Really small, right? But this is exactly what you should be getting from Russian River Pinot Noir. It's made correctly. And it's a great example of a beautiful Pinot Noir. And plus, you got a bonus. It's 2016, probably one of the best vintage years you know, in 20 years. I mean, or maybe even more. And when we get to the 18s, you'll really understand what the next really great vintage is going to be 2018. But we're lucky we've got the 16. So this is a wine that you're going to start your meal with. You can start your meal with this. If you're planning a meal, you're probably thinking lamb, thinking turkey, anything like that. It's gonna do well. It'll handle, you know, some spicy stuff like ribs. You can get away with that. So let's see how this is working so far. Now, some of you may have already got your wine club shipment, and if you did, and you want to taste something along with us, then crack one of those babies open. They're all gonna be really, really nice. But that is
It's a really good Pinot.
it's a really, it's the forest floor is what you get. It's that mushroom that you get, and you don't get that from Dry Creek, and you don't get that, you know, that much from, you know, Sonoma Mountain or any of those areas. You know, that Pinot from Russian River really gives you those distinct characteristics, which I really like. And so let me look at his notes here. And he's saying he's getting hints of strawberry, rhubarb, cherries, plums, baking spices that you notice. Also, it's the balanced tannins. They're not big, huge tannins in the wine. They're very, very soft. Blackberries come to mind on this wine. This wine got a gold medal on the San Francisco Chronicle wine competition. So for a really small producer to get a gold medal, that's pretty slick. That I have to tell you, that's really excellent. We've got somebody else. Oh, Robert Parker.
The Robert Parker.
The Robert Parker. Well, we have the Robert Young. I guess we should have the Robert Parker. Okay, welcome, Robert. I can't wait to see you. I'm trying to put through. You know, you guys have to remember that, you know, I don't memorize every name, but some of the people I do. I mean, some of the folks that we have in our wine club have been there, geez, 8 years, 10 years. I mean, that's the kind of success like what you guys have. You know, you don't see that in the industry because that's not the average. Let me see here. Was that a Jordan in there? Oh my gosh. Robert Parker in the waiting room. Well, come on you don't have to be in the waiting room. Well, Robert Parker, that's hilarious. That's got to be one of my kids. You know? So Pinot Noir, $48 retail. You guys get it at $36 on a reorder. We give you that price for 30 days, and so you got to jump on it. When you only make 112 cases, and he doesn't have that much now. I know that for a fact. He's probably sitting on about 40 cases. And in the wine industry, that's so tiny that's going to go bye-bye, and then it's gone. And what I mean is the producers are so small that they don't get in any distribution. So there's no other place for us to go to find the wine if we're selling the heck out of it. So when this stuff is gone, it's really, really gone. So, you know, I really look for these really tiny producers, but you got to get to the wine right away, or, you know, it's done. Yeah. When it's over for sure.
I gotta say, for $36, this is $60-$70.
It's a 60, 70. It is, man. There's no question about it. And the reason you don't see that price point is because they're so small. They don't have a market place that they can move it And the last thing you want to be is a storage company. So, but great Pinot Noir. Excellent. You know, when I laid this out, I thought about a 4-course meal. You could lay that out and that would be very cool. And you would have 4 glasses out and you pour each wine in advance and you pair it up all the way through. That's a fun thing to do. So if you ever want to do that, I'll help you pick the right wines, because that, you know, you got to do that kind of thing. But like to have you, that's kind of you know, what we're doing here, with the exception of the Taddy, which is going to be an interesting wine. So Pinot Noir, great buy, and yeah, make sure you reorder that. For anybody that's east of Colorado, what I want you to be thinking is thinking 6s and 12s. There's no such thing as an 8-pack. They've never made an 8-pack, and you're paying more money for that small amount of wine. Bring it to 12, and that's going to give you your best price per bottle. So, and we don't make money on shipping. I pass that through. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to move the bottles. So we can, you know, we want to move bottles. And that's the important part of that. We want that to be in your house, in your cellar. So, yeah, go think 6s and 12s, and you'll be thanking me when you get that bigger box.
I think I'm already leaving with a couple bottles, Scott.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I only
That's a good
take
Pinot.
cash.
Hey, okay, that's a great buy. Good wine.
Well, at that price point, I mean, it's crazy. All right, next up, this is a producer that's been with us for a long time. Chris Taddy came to our tasting room. Oh God, that's 13 years ago. And right when we almost like the first day I was there, he walked in with a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I tasted it, and it was a monster. It was a huge wine. And it was the only wine that he made, just this one cab. And I said, I love the cab. I know it would do well, but it's going to get, it doesn't make sense for you to come into my tasting room with one wine. You really need to have a bigger portfolio. And so I talked him into making more wine. And 2 years later, he had like 7 SKUs and a good portfolio, and the wines rocked. They were awesome. And the one thing that he does that very few wineries will do is he does 100% brand new French oak. And in this case, he did it for 24 months. Well, this is a Barbera, a 2018 Barbera. That's unheard of to put that much new oak in there. And it's not cheap, right, Robbie? That's an expensive way to go. But he wants these monster wines. Well, you could do a blind tasting with this wine, and you think you're having a big cab. So yeah, so I put it second in the order only because it's Barbera, but because he has that new oak in here, man, this is a big wine. It's a big boy. This is a wine that I would, if I'm having a dinner, I'm going to open it up 2 hours before dinner. I want that thing to breathe. When you put that much oak to a varietal, especially one like this, you got to get that baby to open up. I mean, that's clear. But this is it's surprisingly because normally Barbera is a little lighter wine, a little heavier than Pinot Noir, but not as big as like a Merlot. But man, that's loaded. that is loaded. That's a big wine. That is a big wine. Yeah, so this wine he made 75 cases. Now, I've seen some small production at
That's
your
small.
place. That's small, man. That is nothing.
Really small.
Because the average barrel, just so you know, the average barrel is about 24.5 cases. So what are you looking at? 3 barrels, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's all you're doing.
900 bottles.
Yeah. Well, you're a smart guy.
Okay. What can I say?
You're a smart guy.
That's not a lot of wine.
Your grandpa taught you to be really smart. I like that.
Yeah.
This comes from Mendocino in Redwood Valley. That's the region that they grow the grapes. And this was his first Barbera that he ever made, which I thought was interesting too. And but it's a big wine. This is not a baby wine. This is a big one. So meal wise, you can raise the bar up on the meal, I think, without any problem at all. Yeah, you can go pretty big. I mean, it's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no issue there. The thing that you have to remember, and Robbie will talk about this too, is 2018 is a real classic year. Let me explain this. You guys need to know this is very important. It's important because with small production wines, man, when they're gone, you're going to be really mad that you didn't stash some of this. And here's why. It's one thing for me to say, yeah, the 18s, man, they're great at Robert Young. They're fabulous at Robert Young. But when you start to hear other wineries tell the same story, then you know you've got a classic year coming up. And that's super cool. I mean, that doesn't happen all the time. This came out of a drought year and it took off and it went nuts. And so a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to my son. He works at Chateau Montelena in Napa, and they're flipping out about the 18s. So then I talked to my wife. She works for the Foley family. So I mean, that's like 30 wineries, and everybody's talking about the same thing. They think that this is some of the best juice they've seen in 40 years. Some even more than that. I mean, don't you agree?
I haven't been around that long, but
No,
the
not even
18s are
close.
the best, are the best that I've had since, past 10 years or so. So
Yeah. And it's got two prongs to it. Number one, it's approachable. It's a wine that you can open the bottle just like that, and it's ready to go. It's in its stride. Plus, it's going to age really, really nice. And what's going to happen 7 or 10 years from now is the tannins are going to get really soft and really pretty. And you're going to love that. It's going to be a whole different experience. So here's the recommendation, okay, from me, just because I'm making a recommendation. You wanna enjoy some of it now. A bottle every couple of months, not a problem. Take a little bit more and stash it, because you go back and you go down the road and all of a sudden you're in year 5 and you go, oh, that stupid wine that Scott talked about, well, let's go take a look at that. And sure enough, you're gonna call me up and want to buy more of it and it'll be gone. But anyway, you're gonna really appreciate the wine and you're gonna appreciate how it aged. Don't you think, Rob? I mean, you're letting that age and get mature. And the wines that we taste, that are 7 years old now or 8 years old now, right? Those tannins are still there. It's a beautiful wine. They're luscious.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so you want to take advantage of that. And I like to do that. My only problem is my wife doesn't have a filter. And so her whole thing is open it now. And I mean, I don't know how to win that. You know her.
You gotta hide it.
Well, yeah, but see, I have an advantage. So I hide the Robert Young wine at Robert Young. So she can, because they got a great cellar and they can hang it, they can keep it there for me. Because no, that's true. I stopped trying to protect that. Because when she likes it, and you know what? She's correct in the sense that, you know, you gotta enjoy it now. Today's the day, and there you go. So anyway, I really like the idea of putting some of that down though, and that's really important. You're gonna love this vintage. I thought the wines, everything I've tasted, and I'm kind of a wine junkie is what I am. I mean, I closed my tasting room, and what did I do? I worked in the tasting room. You know, I don't know, but you know, I can't stand it because there's so many great wines out there, and I keep finding them, man. And wait till you see what I'm gonna have coming up in June. You're not gonna believe what I'm finding. I'm finding some really cool wines that you don't even know about yet. I haven't even shared that with you, but I will. I'll share it with you because I like you, Robbie.
I'm impressed so far.
Yeah, well, they're
really good ones.
Well, here's the deal. Here's how this thing works. And I'm talking to the choir here, but is that Robert? Is that
Robert Parker?
Is Parker trying to get in there again? Well, get in there. Oh, it's Donald Trump. Well, that's even more entertaining. Oh, I love it. That's hilarious. That's got to be one of my kids. I know it. So anyway, so what the hell? What was I saying? I was on a point there. What did I say? All right, the heck with it. I'll come back and I'll figure that out. When you're old,
what's the price point on this one?
This one is 45 retail, 33.75 on the reorder.
Can't beat. Well, I can't beat that.
No, those barrels were $1,500 a piece. I mean, come on, do the math. He won't change his philosophy, even though it's eating into the profit. I mean, it really eats in there, Robbie. That's a huge hit, but it's just his style, and he loves these big wines, and so we love them too. So. All right, that's a big bad boy right there. Okay, next, the Merlot from Robert Young. I'm going to turn this over to Robbie because what I want Robbie to do is tell you a little bit about the winery and a little bit about the Merlot. And so I'm just gonna do a screen share here.
No.
When you go to the tasting room, now it looks a little different today because they're not awake yet. But anyway, they have probably one of the best tasting areas, and it's actually bigger than what you see here, but it overlooks the entire valley, and a big chunk of this stuff on this side of the patio is really all of your stuff. So Robbie, tell us the story of Robert Young, how you ended up at this location. And I'll pour wine.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. So I'm Robert Young II. So I'm actually 5th generation in our business now, and the Robert Young, that's my grandfather. So before I get into the tasting room and this lovely view, I'll take it back a bit further. So my family has been living farming our property since 1858, and we're now 7 generations into our family business. And it wasn't always wine or growing grapes. Originally, we were a plum ranch for prunes. The town of Healdsburg that we're located in Sonoma County was one of the biggest prune towns in California. So we had that for a long time. My grandfather, though, in 1963 is actually one of the first guys to plant Cabernet in Alexander Valley, what it's now known for today. Made more money off his little 14 acres of Cabernet than his 217 acres of prunes or plums he had. So that kind of started, the whole thing. But my grandfather, Robert, is actually known for Chardonnay. And believe it or not, he actually developed his own clone of Chardonnay. It's called Robert Young Clone 17. It's actually the second most widely planted in the United States, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very
So a lot of the grape growers and wineries will use his vine. And then on top of that, so we didn't actually start making wine. My family didn't until 97. Prior to that, we just grew grapes and sold those to other wineries, probably 20, 30. All of our Chardonnay we sold to a winery called Chateau Saint Jean. So Chateau Saint Jean created with us one of the first vineyard designated wines in the United States. So we were one of the first vineyards to be put on a wine label and given credit for our quality of fruit. And that's probably how you found about us originally back in the day, was through them.
Yeah. And today on their $65 ultra premium wine, it says Robert Young on both sides. I love that.
Yeah.
And well, they love the juice because it came from right over here.
Yeah.
And that's legit.
Yeah. So that really put our vineyard on the map. And then my father, Fred, in the mid 90s was like, why are we selling all of our grapes? Maybe we should start keeping a little bit and making our own wine. So kind of to sum everything up. So today we're actually one of the largest family-owned growers here in Alexander Valley. There's a little over 300 acres, and we just take the best 5% of those grapes for our wines. So we keep maybe, 10, 15 acres for our production, and the wines we do 5,000 cases. So it's very small. We only sell it direct to consumer, other than Cellars of Sonoma.
Yeah, I mean, or if you see it in a restaurant or in a wine shop, they walked in the front door, they bought the box and took it home.
Yeah, there's about
So
5 restaurants in Healdsburg, and that's as far as it goes. I mean, other than this club and then our winery,
you'd never find it.
you can't get it.
You can't get it.
Primarily goes, the membership, and then, you guys, members as well, and then, folks that come in our tasting room, and this beautiful tasting room you're looking at here in the screen, we opened up about a little over 3 years ago. It sits on our hill. We have 360-degree views of the whole property. It's all estate fruit. Every wine we make, you can see an eyesight, which is pretty cool. So it's all right at our fingertips. We do very, very small production wine, specializing in Chard, Cabernet, and then we got beautiful Merlot. We do Malbec, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, 2 barrels of that. So kind of like these other wines, very, very small.
And then besides the Chardonnay, you're doing Viognier and Sauvignon Blanc and Rosé, Rockstar Rosé. Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's Malbec and Merlot. What more do you want? Yeah. That's and Merlot, 13 barrels. 13 barrels. In the wine industry, you guys, that's nothing. I mean, that is nothing. Some wineries probably spill that much, it's just, there's no, I mean, that's tiny. It's really tiny. Mm-hmm. And so Robert Young was on my radar for years. My son, Kevin, you guys, some of you that are wine club members, you may have met Kevin in our tasting room. And, but we were collectors of a wine called Scion, which was the name of the first wine that you made. And I'm not gonna, well, all right, I'll just let the cat out. I'm gonna put that into the June shipment. I'm gonna put that in there. And you guys are gonna flip when you taste this wine. You're just not gonna believe it. They started out with a hit right out of the gate, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's amazing. And Kevin and I, all we got in the shipments were 3 wines, and they were all Scion. So, because it was just a cool wine, man. And I didn't really know a lot about Robert Young. But at one point, you know, the manager pulled me aside and said, "Hey, we make other wine." So, you know, that was kind of cool. He showed me Chardonnay. What do you think Angie said? Yeah, give me a case of Chardonnay. What am I doing? So anyway,
Showing her the Chardonnay was the best and worst thing you could have done.
hey, I'm a yes guy.
Good for her, bad for you.
Yeah. I'm a yes guy. I want to live, you know, a little longer. So I take care of my wife, no question about it. This Merlot is, well,
We gotta
tell
talk
them,
about it.
yeah, tell them about the Merlot and where you grow that. Now, I don't think I can see it on this picture, but it's right behind the building that you're looking at right there.
Maybe if you take a stroll back the other way, you can, but yeah, so
I can stroll from here.
I think if you turn around,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
Can you
can I
walk
walk through?
I think you can, yeah.
Oh, how do I walk? Oh, walk. There was a, whoa.
And I'll click the wall over there.
Yeah,
I click that.
yeah,
You can give them a little tour. Yeah, click that 360 right there.
yeah. Oh, the 360.
Yeah, you can click that one.
Is that's gonna, did it open the door?
I think they'll open the door. Oh, then keep walking. There you go. I just keep
Oh,
walking.
that's hilarious. You're so
So see if
good,
you can
Robbie.
walk all the way out.
Can
there.
I walk out to
All
where that vineyard? It's right there. Isn't that it?
Yeah,
That's
kind
kind
of
of
more. Yeah, but right over there. So
the top 10
yeah.
rows, right?
yeah, so it's hillside Merlot. We don't grow too much of it, but comes from right at the top of the hill up there, and it's one of our highest elevations on our property, and we happen to have Merlot growing up there. But Merlot is typically a very high yielding Bordeaux varietal out of the five. You typically got like very large berries. They're kind of hold a lot of water. But being on the hillside, we get a lot of stress in those vines. So the berries end up coming out very small. They're really concentrated. You got more skin, less juice, and this comes out to be a very beautiful, kind of more big fruit-driven Merlot.
Yeah, and
And I gotta say, it has, because I haven't, actually sat down and got to, enjoy a partial glass of this in a while, but it just has like such a beautiful nose, which is uncommon for.
and it's gonna age really well,
10 years all day long.
right? All day long. But so approachable, and I think that's the feature I'm really liking is the approachability of these wines right now. I mean, that's
And
fabulous.
This is one I'd say the one that I drink the most of at home, just because it's very approachable. You don't have to have a meal with it. You can just have a glass of it, but also you can sit it down with a fillet.
Well,
or a steak.
or you could, or spicy food, right?
Yeah.
They've got spicy ribs that I'm cooking out there actually, by the way. So, well,
That'll be
you guys are welcome to join us, but it might take you a while to get here. So, well, that is fabulous. And Robbie, I have to tell you, for years, we used to go up here when it was just a grass knoll, and we would stand there and go, why is the tasting room down? And we should be up here. And you did it. And that's super cool. So hands off for you. I'll tell you right now, because that wasn't easy to do. Not by any stretch. But when you come in and you see that, you're blown away. So when you guys make a trip, you're going to make a trip to wine country. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to call me first. And because what you don't want to do is you don't want to show up at wine country the day after an event, because I'm just going to show you pictures. So you want to make sure you get here the day before, if that's what it takes. And that way you'll have a heck of a lot more fun. It's a great property that, can do all kinds of events. I mean, you do it all up there, right, Robbie? I mean,
we do a lot.
yeah, I mean, you're booked solid on weddings up there, right? All the way through the summer.
Yeah, weddings, corporate events as well.
Comedy, you're gonna do
We're doing a
comedy?
couple of combi nights. So actually looking straight through the building there, we'll put like a stage on the edge of the lawn, and we're having, I think, 4 or 5 comedians from LA come up, and we're doing 3 of them this summer. Just be about a 2-hour event. You bring your blankets or chairs, and we'll have bottles and charcuterie and food, and hang out and
Gotta
laugh
love
your butt
that.
off.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah,
Well, that's awesome. All right.
one of me.
I love it. So, what makes me go back in there?
I think just click it.
Just click it.
Yeah, just click.
I click. Well, because this is all about wine. Oh, see, you're smarter than I am. Oh, I didn't roll. Cabernet Sauvignon 2018. This is a really beautiful wine. So Robbie, tell them about this wine.
This is a 2018 Cabernet Sauvignon. Like the Merlot, this is aged 18 months French oak. It's about 40% new French oak. And it's a Bordeaux blend, so it's primarily Cab. I think it's around high 80%, 88%. And then you got Merlot, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. But again, like the Merlot, this is a very approachable wine, our most approachable. And what I mean by that, just very soft in tannins, very light in oak. It's very versatile, can go with or without food, which is really nice, but it's very fruit driven. So you can get like some plum, blackberry, maybe a little bit of cherry, raspberry, baking spice, all that, but good wine.
Yeah.
And this cab we get from the left over here, if I may. So right over here on the hillside, and then we cherry pick the top crown or like cap of that vineyard over there, rather than take everything. The reason we do that is you get very low yield at the top of the hill. The vines are really stressed, so you get smaller berries, you get more concentration in the fruit. Then you get the wind, a little bit of airflow up there, so there's no moisture or rot. And then lastly, you get even ripening at the top of that hill. And since we're taking our own grapes that go into this small lot wine, we get to actually go in and pick the very best fruit for our wines, and then everything else will sell and goes into our neighbors, if you will.
Yeah, let the neighbor have it.
We'll let the neighbor have it, but
well, here's the reality. That's nice fruit, but when you taste them side by side, it's not a fair fight, because it is clearly better on that crown. That's why you're there.
Yeah.
And from 63 to 97, you had a pretty good time looking in that vineyard and farming that vineyard.
Yeah.
You guys figured it out.
Yeah,
Right?
had enough time to figure it out.
Yeah, your grandpa figured it out
Yeah.
and your dad and went, wait a minute.
Yeah. And I think that's
the
what
stuff.
makes, the wine, just so great is we have 100% control from start to finish. Because I think 90% of the wine is made in the vineyard, and we are fortunate enough to have that luxury to control all that.
Yeah, and I think, at your size, Robbie, the winemaker has his hand on every barrel. He really knows what's going on through the whole thing.
Right.
If you ramp that up, you lose control of it. You end up with teams of people tasting wine and making decisions, and that's not the same product. You don't make a great wine like that unless that winemaker's got his hand in it big time. So well, hats off to you, Robbie. You guys that are watching, when you come out to wine country, make sure again, clearly let me know, and I'll get you hooked up over there, and you'll be blown away when you walk up there. But the portfolio is quite amazing. You make some amazing wines that I haven't put in the club yet. Maybe I will down the road here, but you're going to get one in June. That's the Scion, and you're going to realize why my son and I decided to make sure we had Scion every time that we picked up wine. So,
my favorite wine.
well, it's legit. And yeah, at that price point, it's ridiculous. And two, we wanted, when Kevin and I were out, tasting wine, we wanted it to be consistent every single time. And that did that. We actually collected a 15-year vertical of that wine. And you don't do that because, I'm not a charity. I do it because I really love the wine. They were legit every single year. You knew what you were going to get. And so that's coming down the pike as well as other things. Thank you, Robbie.
Thank you.
It's a real pleasure. So I'm going to open up the your microphones here so you guys can, if you have any questions. How did I get that? Did I miss the bolt? What did I do? Right where?
Top. I think at the top.
Oh, on mute. Oh, on mute. So if you guys want to ask a question of Robbie or myself, feel free to do that. Oh, how did it not? Oh, there we go.
We have a question. So between your estate cab and your Scion estate cab and your Bob's Burn Pile estate cab, can you tell us a little bit about the differences between those three? I'm looking at your website and I'm just curious how they differ.
A couple more.
There's more, but those three were the ones I'm interested in.
Yeah, those three are, so like the one you have right now, that's our introductory cab as far as like the price point goes, approachability. This one that you're having is our just most lightest in tannin, lightest in oak, least time in oak, more fruit driven, kind of more ready to go right now. The Scion would be a step up, and that's a little bit more, has typically a little more tannin, a little more darker fruit. And that's a classic Bordeaux style blend, has all five of the Bordeaux.
Sounds good.
Bob's Burn Pile, we age about 26 months in oak, 100% brand new French oak, matter of fact. So that is, I think what me and Scott call our Napa, kind of Napa cab fighter, if you will. So a lot of dark fruit, more tannic, more big bold, but yet it's still very elegant and soft. And then, if you take that over the hill, you're going to be paying $300 a bottle for, and that's why Scott can verify that it flies off the shelf there.
Well, it does, because when you look at where that's growing, and you couldn't quite get a picture by what we were looking at, but in that vineyard, there's a oak tree, and underneath that oak tree is where his grandpa burned all the cuttings for years, and it affected the soil in a way different than anywhere else in the property. And so they only take from either side of the tree and in front, and that makes the Bob's Burn Pile. But man, it only makes what, 15 barrels?
Yeah.
It's nothing. But it's rock star wine. It's over the top rock star wine. And Robbie's correct, because just call my son. He works at Chateau Montelena. I'm telling you, it'd be $300 all day for that same wine. And the soil's very similar to Napa. All the characteristics are there. And so,
well, we visited your winery probably 15 years ago now, quite a while ago, and we focused on whites because that's kind of an iconic thing that you have, and the Chardonnays, and these sound really good. So
I think we have some Scion swirled
we
away
did the
downstairs.
17 once. We're gonna probably do the Barrel Select coming up in the June shipment. That's another really great wine. It goes through a secondary fermentation to 100%. So the oak and butter is more creamy in that wine. And there's a group of people in that category that really like that. And the queen of that is called Angie. That's my wife. Yeah. So I put it in there for you guys, but I put it in for her first.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But well, it's, they people that really like that oaky, buttery style like to live in that category, and they don't like to come out. So so I learned that from my
That's
wife.
us.
Yeah, and you'll love the wine. It's because what I know about Chardonnay, you can mess that up and make it too oaky and too much butter, and it's just over the top. You got to balance it, and that's what you're doing. Number one, with the beautiful grapes that it comes from, but in the cellar you got to balance it, right, Robbie? I mean, you got to get that balance and make sure it doesn't take their teeth out, with that oak.
Yeah, I was going to mention one of the important things that left out about the Bob's Burn Pile when you were asking about that is that wine we sell about 80% in advance to our members.
Ah,
which
okay.
is very unusual for a winery to do. But the reason we do that is the quality and the price point of that wine is, they buy in advance at like 20% discount and can't beat it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So get on it. Get on it quick.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't dodge that one. That's the one you can follow every time.
And my name's on the bottle. I don't even get a discount on it. So like our members that are at the winery,
Yeah.
I buy the futures. Otherwise it'd be, TV Tuesday, me and Scott would be having Bob's Burn Pile all the time.
Yeah.
You need to talk to somebody, don't you?
Yes.
I
I think,
think-
it's just for the back.
Yeah,
So I
when they
think-
wouldn't give me a discount, I really, my eyes opened right up. Went, oh.
Yeah. Scott, I think one time we talked about the old tasting room. And so when you were going through the 360 tour, I was thinking about that in relation to what looked like the maintenance shed before, and where it's situated in comparison. Because it was, I think I seem to recall, it was like a green kind of pole barn looking type building before, sort of, more utilitarian than, fancy tasting room kind of setting.
Yeah, so if you're where our old tasting room was, that white barn, if you're standing in the parking lot facing the building, there's our cave off to the right, which you may have recall. But off to the right, if you go up the hill, that's where there's like some redwood trees. That's where it sits.
Ah,
So it's you could be at the tasting room on the hill and you could throw a rock down to the old tasting room.
Okay.
oh,
Yeah.
it looks beautiful. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Dream come true.
that picture doesn't give it justice, because since then they've made the concrete a little wider and more furniture out, and it's over the top.
We didn't realize so many people wanted to come because if you came to our old tasting room, a busy day for us was like 15 people. And
Right.
then we build this thing on the hill, and now we're seeing 100 people on a weekend. It's
Or more.
Or yeah, who would have thought? So
Yeah.
it's been a success. So
Yeah, and I was such a fan when I realized they opened that. I couldn't help myself. So I came over to knocked on the door and said, "Hey, throw me in a couple of days, play a few dragons for you."
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you really want to see this, because it's unusual to have it's really a 360 view that they have up there that nobody else has. Nobody has that, and they never will. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
We'll come visit.
Yeah, please come. You'll one of the things that has changed over the years is you can fly directly into Santa Rosa through a few airlines. So that's the best way to go.
Yeah.
Because then you're in town, and when you go home, it's 10 minutes, so
Yeah, you don't have to worry about whether you're going to get across the bridges into San Francisco in time.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's fun. It's fun to visit San Francisco, but not with all the traffic and stuff.
Yes.
So
I think
yeah,
a couple times we didn't make it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well,
so that's okay. You
you're
stay
burning
local.
you're burning up wine time. So,
Right.
it's much better to be a little closer to the airport for sure. So, all right. Any other questions?
I have a comment and a question.
Okay.
Hi, Scott. Good seeing you again. Say hi to Angie for us.
Hi, cutie. Now I know this. Your picture is really dark. And,
I know.
and
I can't figure out the
and
Zoom how to
I
get
go,
better lighting.
"Well, that's Kathy. I know Kathy."
Yeah, Joe's watching some sumo wrestling on TV, so that's Joe. Good seeing you again, and thank you
Yeah.
for the invite. I have Robbie, your Merlot was the best tasting Merlot I've ever had, and I'm not a connoisseur, but that was the best because I usually prefer whites, but man, I'm going to order some more because I think everybody down here in California, Southern California, should enjoy it. And then if I go ahead and order this, Scott,
Yeah.
can I request what week you can ship it? Because Joe and I have been doing some traveling and you have to have an adult to sign for it, of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's easy.
Okay, so just put it on the order form.
Yeah. Just tell me what works best. Because
Okay.
typically it leaves here. If it left on a Monday, you're going to get it by Wednesday.
Right,
You know what I mean? So
right.
that's kind of your timeline. It's pretty simple.
Okay, I just need to make sure I'm home.
But then here's the other thing, Kathy. If I'm going down there to see Scott Lee, then what you have to do is, I'll let you know if I'm going to be coming down. And I'll just bring it with me.
Okay. Yeah, we're busy next month too, here and there.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be gone in the middle of the month, but just let me know, honey. We can get it to you anytime. That's easy.
Okay, okay, that sounds great. Well, I'll fill this out and send it to you tomorrow then.
Well, that's awesome.
And then our last conversation we had over dinner,
Yes, ma'am.
remember we couldn't remember the third party that was with us years ago?
Yeah, who?
His name was Lloyd.
Lloyd, that's right.
Lloyd. It came to me a month later.
I have known Kathy longer than almost anybody. Oh, there's my son Scott. Hi, Scott.
We must have met in 73.
No, well, yeah, we met in 73, and then I went through high school and finished in 74, and then we went to Florida.
Right, right.
Yeah, and
Wow.
On the rails.
on the train. We went to Fort Lauderdale on a train.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool, actually.
yeah. Yeah. Young and adventurous.
That was amazing. And we were roommates, and it was really a neat thing. And so we had a blast. And so I've known Kathy almost longer than almost anybody that I know.
You've always been a little brother to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, we've had a lot of fun. So it's good to see you. Kathy, I could not, because your picture's a little dark. I couldn't.
It's on purpose.
I heard the voice and I went, oh, that's Kathy. And there's our son, Scott Lee Jordan.
Hey, Robbie.
Hey, Scott.
Long
Hey,
Beach.
Scott.
And
Oh,
he's a
Scott,
fan.
I'm in Gardena. We should hook up sometime.
Oh, cool. Yeah, right up the road. I'm
Yeah.
over by Cal State, Long Beach.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mhm.
Yeah.
That wasn't Scott masquerading as Robert Parker before, was it?
Probably. Well, maybe not though. That's almost sounded like his brother, Andrew in Florida.
Mhm.
Yeah. Saying he was Robert Parker. That was pretty funny. I love it. That's awesome. That's very cool. That's very cool.
Edward, where do you live?
We live in Saugatuck, Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
All there.
So it's been a couple of years since we went west.
Pre-COVID.
pre-COVID. Yeah, so,
We're ready to come
Okay,
back.
I can hook you up now.
okay.
There's a lot to see, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime you want to do that, you just let me know and I'll plug you in between Robert Young and my wife's winery and Chateau Montaleno. I mean, good Lord.
You got a week here.
Yeah, you got
Yeah. Yeah,
Sounds good.
we've had to satisfy ourselves with a trip to the Traverse City area and sample some of Michigan's finest,
Not the same.
you know.
Yeah, we'd love to. It sounds good.
Yeah. The you know, it's just, you stay with the Cabernet Franc and
Riesling.
Rieslings and yeah,
Probably
maybe
limited. You
maybe
know,
a very
the
feminine
is
Pinot,
not correct.
you know.
They have pretty good Pinots, not
Yeah.
like you guys though.
Well, no, you're gonna flip on that James family. That's legit. That's Russian River at its absolute best.
Mhm.
I mean,
If we want to open it.
you know,
We tried the Barbera tonight.
oh, that's a big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, he's not messing around. Well, the cool thing is now he has a tasting room and a production facility. So if you guys come out here,
Mhm.
I can hook you up over there and you can taste wine right out of the barrel. It's like,
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
You
That
can't
is.
believe it. It's pretty cool.
Pretty fun. Very
Yeah,
fun.
that's very, very fun. So we'll take good care of you.
Okay, it's a date.
There you go. Well, guys, I am thrilled that you all are here. Some of my favorite people on the planet are right here. Well, you too, Robbie. You're yeah, I feel like you too. But
Thank you.
yeah, this is nice. So we're gonna do this once a month, and then I'm gonna throw it up on the website. I'll have it up there probably on Thursday. And then, we'll keep doing that. And I just want to, connect with everybody. And it's hard to do that, but this is one way to do it. So
It's fun.
well, when I did my broadcast, none of this stuff existed. It wasn't even there. It wasn't even invented. So it was a lot harder to do. We had lights and all lavaliers and all this. Anyway, we don't have to do that now.
Yeah.
Little
Is it okay if
easier.
we
Just say
forward
hello,
your link
so-
along to friends?
So we will look forward to seeing you again. If you need anything,
Yes,
of
you
course,
can.
just let me know. And this is where you learn about wine one sip at a time.
Yeah.
That was
Thank you.
That was my close.
Okay.
All right, we love you guys,
All
and
right.
thank
Good
you for
night.
Thank you.
hanging with us and tuning in. We'll talk to you next time.
All
Next
right,
month.
watch the
Okay.
replay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.